Hello, Gospel Community Leaders. Excited to see you guys. I am so sorry that it's just now Tuesday, and it's probably going to be 1 o'clock on Tuesday by the time this gets up, especially Richard. I'm really sorry about that. We moved into our new house last week. It's super exciting, but it has been crazy busy. Just a lot of work. My mind has been a million different places, and so that's just a lame excuse, and that's my apology. For why these questions are just now getting up there for all of you leaders. So I hope you're having a great week. I listened to the sermon via podcast. I was not there, but it was great. A lot of great discussion is going to come out of it, and you'll see that in the discussion guide listed below. I want to give you the heads up about a few things, but first I want to say this. Please comment below here on the city if you are planning to do a Halloween outreach. If you haven't been clued into that, there's a video further down. If you're on the city and you're in the Gospel Community Leadership group, you'll see a post on Halloween outreach. Please watch that. Please talk to your group about that. Please, if you are not doing that, offer a compelling reason to me why not. Otherwise, please try to pull that off if you can, whether that's large scale or small scale, and get that planned out and done. If you are already planning to do that, please comment below and let me know that you're doing that. No, it doesn't need to be a long explanation, just a comment to let me know that you're doing it, maybe where, maybe what evening. If you want to share any of the details, you can, but you don't have to. So please do that. All right, now to the discussion questions and just a heads up about a couple things. First of all, question 1, when you get to question 1, there's an appendix attached to that. It's a video from Mark Driscoll explaining the difference between a covenantal view of marriage and a contractual view of marriage. Because this question is simply, what's the difference? Why is that practically different within marriage relationships? So whether you're single now or you're engaged now or you're married now, you need to be asking this question. Why does it matter that we differentiate those definitions when we think about marriage between a covenant as God designed it to be and as a contract, as with prenuptial agreements and things like that? We see modern day marriage kind of viewed that way, as a contract. The video below is going to help you answer that question, be prepared to answer that question, and why it's important to differentiate between those two things better than I'll be able to explain it. So watch that video before you dive into that question. I think it's about 5 minutes long, but it'll help you out in that. Question 5. Question 5 is about verbal communication with your spouse before sex. You don't have to ask this question. If you're uncomfortable asking this question for compelling reasons, then don't ask the question. However, it's just a icky question to you and you're like, I don't know if I want to ask the question. This is important, like Josh said on Sunday morning. Where else is a better place to talk about these things than in godly, gospel-centered, gospel-driven communities? Because sex is a gift from God. Sex is for the glory of God. And so unless you're just a group of all singles, if there are married couples in your group, then address this question. There's some guidance there to keep it clean and don't get into specifics, but it's just a general question when it comes to, because in Song of Solomon chapter 4 we see a verbal lover. Solomon is a verbal lover for 10 or maybe 11 verses before he lays his hands on her, and then it gets pretty hot and steamy, but he is verbal in his romance, verbal in his love. And so with that question addresses that. So just be aware of that. As you go into that, that's not a required question, but if you throw that question off, then have a compelling reason for doing that, and then just guard that setting to make sure that it stays clean and appropriate as you discuss it. Finally, there's an announcement in the study guide, but it's a very important announcement. Don't miss this one. Please don't miss any of the announcements, but this week specifically, address this in your group. Even if you don't ask a single question this week, which I hope isn't happening, but if you don't ask a single question this week, say you get together for food and it just never gets around to discussion, take the time to stop your group and get everyone's attention and say, listen, if any of you here are struggling, however you want to say it, but you can read the announcement for the information, but if any of you are struggling with addiction to pornography, or do sexual sins such as those, whether it's pornographic reading, pornographic viewing, whatever it is, there's going to be resources available this week on the city and on the blog to help you along with that. Okay, and again, it's not about behavior modification primarily. Some of the resources will speak in to ways to be held accountable and to modify behavior, but primarily it's about finding somebody to walk through this with you and remind you of who you are in Christ, who you're called to be in Christ, who you're empowered to be in Christ, and to turn those affections, because through the power of God and through the power of the gospel, that those affections, that we love Jesus and we love God more than the naked form or than erotica at that point. And so, but surface yourself. Encourage people in your group to surface themselves to you privately, or to check out those resources on our blog and on the city if that's something that they struggle with. All right, have a great week. If you have any questions, just let me know. 304-617-2448 is my phone number. Call me at any time, 304-617-2448. You guys have a great week. Praying for you.